Today joining us is Frank Frassetto, if I'm not saying that right. You can correct me if I'm wrong. He's from the Division Administrator, Trade and Consumer Protection. Thank you for joining us today.
Good afternoon, Jeremy. Thanks for being here.
So talk a little bit about National Cyber Month and what you guys are doing to take part in it.
Sure. Well, October is National Cybersecurity Month, Awareness Month. And what we decided to do was put out a tip of the day because much of what we try to do is educate and inform the consumers about scams, identity theft, all sorts of circumstances where crooks and thieves want to get at your personally identifiable information using whatever device you have at your disposal in order to separate your hard-earned money from you. And that's really the bottom line. So a tip of the day is going out on the DATCAP website, and we're getting feedback that people are actually looking at it, which is good, and then that is also going out on our Facebook page and our Twitter account, I believe.
Awesome. And kind of the theft has changed over the years, so maybe it was phone scams, mail scams, you know, that sort of thing, and, you know, with technology changes, you know, so does the, you know, awareness of trying to protect consumers in this new way. What are you guys doing to take other steps?
Technology is providing efficiencies and interconnectedness all over the place, personal and business-wise. But the basic fundamental truth is people want to steal. And they want to steal as easily as they can without getting caught.
Right.
And so the devices, the mobile phones, the laptops, the iPads, all of this stuff have features that you might use 70% of them, I might use 30%, but they're there. And if I don't know about them, those are potential portals for people to get in to my information and then mess around with me.
So do you guys kind of have like top 5 tips? So I'm just going off, I'm reading through the press releases and whatnot. Do you guys have like a top list? I mean, you know, obviously you're sending out a tip every day, but what do you guys start with as far as you know, your top 5 go-to?
There's not really a top 5 per se. There's a whole bunch of them that are important within the top 5, and they tend to be usable for whatever device you might be using or to provide the type of protections. So what is one more important than the other? Not necessarily, except that building upon each step that you take provides more and more security for you and builds those walls against scammers and con artists from getting at your information. So for example, and this is standard, you can program it into your devices, changing your password. Get a prompt every 60 or 90 days to change your password. We don't do it enough, it's not convenient, and we tend to, when we are prompted, use a similar password because we can't remember all the passwords that we have for different, whether it's our banking account or credit cards. So we're telling folks and encouraging them, change your password frequently. And when you do change your password, make sure that it's a different kind of password, not just a sequence of numbers that continue to add one to it after that. So that's a good line of defense. The second thing you can do is keep an eye on the fact that your email account should have the strongest password. I mean, you have a lot of information that people are easily accessible through your email account. And if you don't have a strong, robust password for that account, the rest of your accounts might be in jeopardy of being hacked into. So that's a very important tip. The other part of that is your email account password should be radically different than all the other password accounts that you have. Now, the question there is, where are you going to save all of these passwords and how are you going to do it? And that's a system I think individuals pick and choose what's the best way for them to manage that information.
From the state's perspective, I mean, is there one area that stands out that's getting attacked more? Is it more on an email side? Is it more on banking side or mobile devices or computers? Is there something that you guys are seeing more of, or is it just kind of spread out?
The categories that we track are the type of complaints that we get in the door, and the technology that we're using to conduct a type of business is sort of across the board, whether it's your laptop that you use all the time or whether it's your iPad, whether it's your smartphone. So those are just the portals. But the type of problems that we're seeing are the telemarketing, the no-call. I mean, you've taken one step to not get any of these harassing phone calls and people are asking you to do X, Y, and Z, and you get on the no-call registry and then you still get calls and people are wondering, why is that? Well, because crooks really don't care about following the law, really.
Right.
And so they're calling all of these numbers. You have computer-generated technology that is able to dial 1 million phone numbers an hour. I mean, it's a self-perpetuating machine, basically, that's taking place here, and we try to stay on top of it. Now, with respect to the devices that people are trying to get into in order to scour for all your personal identifiable information, the type of methods that we are encouraging people to do is very similar to what we were talking about before, which is the passwords. Disabling certain features. For example, Bluetooth and wireless is very popular. The problem is that's another portal that people can get into, and if you don't have a strong password in say, a public Wi-Fi environment that you might be in, people can get into that. If you're not shielding your device, if you have enabled features such as geotagging, people can, those might be automatic when you get it from the manufacturer. So you need to go in there and disable some of those type of features until you're ready to use them. And it's those type of activities that we're trying to encourage people to be aware of and to understand the risks of this great technology that they have and manage it accordingly.